Alex, I'm going to come to you first. You know, Notre Dame, USC, a couple of these guys are playing, and but the rest of it's kind of a bunch of not no names, but lesser talent. What are
Lesser
you
schools,
looking
yeah.
forward to? Yeah, what are you looking forward to out of week 0, other than the fact that it's back?
I was just gonna say that's the main thing, that it's back. I want to see Sam Hartman at Notre Dame. That's the first thing I want to see.
Yep.
I want to see how good they look right off the bat, because if they're firing on all cylinders right now, Notre Dame is very dangerous this year, and I think that's a very real possibility. And then after that, I mean, San Jose State's a team that, I mean, they're giving USC 30 points. I don't know if I like USC that much over them.
Yeah.
I want to see how close San Jose State can keep that. And the other thing I want to see, speaking of Vanderbilt, I want to see if they have a stadium to play in, because it's coming real close, and they're still working on that stadium. So, I want to see if they got a stadium to play in.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and yeah, I'm eager to see what they look like this year, because we saw last year. I think they went 3-1. They only lost to Wake Forest with Sam Hartman on that team early in the year, and they have a similar kind of schedule earlier in this season. So it's very possible that they could go, 3-1, maybe 4-1. I mean, they play like Hawaii, I think UNLV. They play a bunch of lower teams, albeit Vandy's not as great, but we've seen what Clark Lee's been bringing up with them. So yeah, I'm definitely eager to see that. San Jose State and USC. Obviously, I think it's going to be a blowout, but at the same time, that quarterback at San Jose State, was it Cordero? Yeah, he's a senior this year. He's played the last couple of years. Andrew, he'll tell you about him because he bet on him a lot last year. So he always comes to play, and I love that they have that senior starter in there. And at the very least, I'm interested in seeing somebody that you brought up out of Ohio. What is that? You brought up wasn't the running back, or did I bring it? It was quarterback, Rory quarterback, and then Bengura at running back, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, both those guys are upperclassmen. They're playing San Diego State, who is no slouch, but let's see what they're going to bring into this season. But I'm really interested. And we love the MAC conference. Doesn't get enough love, and I definitely want to see that game. But for some of the other games, University of Texas El Paso will be playing Jacksonville State at 5:30. UMass plays New Mexico State. Moving on. And then FIU goes to Louisiana Tech. Couple of those other games, but I think you said it at the beginning, Alex. It doesn't matter who's playing right now.
I will be watching all weekend next weekend. I can tell you that much.
I watch each and every game that comes on. I'm too excited for it.
I'm gonna have like 3, 4, 5 screens going everywhere in the house. There's gonna be a game going on.
Right. Going here to here to here, and probably playing video games myself. Like, I need it all. I need it all, man. Nathan said, "Happy Saturday, fellas." What's up, Nathan?
Got you, Nate.
Absolutely. Johnny said, "I want to see the Bucks." Hey, Alex, I love this comment. I do too. Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody wants to miss at least the potential, the thought of what Deion could do.
One, especially against a team like TCU, who they also have so much up in the air because they lost their 3 most important players on offense, lost Travis Hodges-Tomlinson. Now they've got a lot of transfer portal guys coming in, more specifically a lot of Alabama guys coming in. Yeah. So, I mean, the talent has kind of been replenished, but it's like, who's taking over for those 4 key players with Duggan, Kendre Miller, Quentin Johnston, and Hodges-Tomlinson? Like, that's a lot to replace. And I said it last week, I think on the NFL edition, I think Colorado might play spoiler here. I could see them getting that win.
Ooh. I know I sent you what was that? I sent you the list, something off IG where they were predicting the conferences. And then they did with the Pac-12, and they had them at like 2-10 or something like that. And I was like,
something real low.
I give them a little bit more than that. They also had USC as undefeated, and with that, unless their defense has upgraded, 10 wins maybe. I don't know about undefeated.
Yeah, 2-10 for Colorado, undefeated for USC, 11-1 Washington, 10-2 Oregon, 10-2 Oregon State, Utah 8-4.
What?
Yeah, I don't see that. UCLA also 8-4. Cal, who's been awful for years, 6-6. Don't know about that.
No.
Arizona, who's been awful for a while, 6-6.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's been a few of those ones that you sent me, and I don't agree with. So,
because I'm looking at the last two, Cal and Arizona, where you're just like, what do you see different? I mean, I don't know that they're bringing in people, and boatload, in truckloads to come over there and play for that school, especially now that they are not even certain they're not even going to be in the Pac-12 next year. So, 6-6, that's wishful thinking in my opinion. But who knows?
Well, in the ACC one, they had you 7-5. I don't see that either.
I'm trying to look at 5 games that we can lose, and not trying to, say North Carolina is so great, but I'm seriously like, dude, Drake could win, 4 or 5 of them himself. Like, he's got that ability, so we only need to win a couple more. So, 7-5 is rough. 7-5. I saw that one too. I didn't like that one.
The most egregious one for the ACC, Miami 10-2.
Yeah. Yeah, not yet. They ain't ready yet.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Alex said we need Sean to run through a paper wall to break into these seasons. I mean, I'm doing it. Yes. I will absolutely do that. No, let's go.
Yeah.
What is going on? Oh, yeah. Good old Tuesday Maxon. Love it. Love it. Hey, this is coming.
I think the tentative deadline is first week of August next year.
And hey, let's say this right now because you and I and Will had this conversation. The new NCAA 24 will only be on next gen consoles. It will not be on PS4. It won't be on Xbox 360 or even Xbox One. Like, you got to get, what is it, Xbox X or X Series or something like that?
Something like that, yeah. I forget what they're at now.
Yeah. I feel like with a Samsung and iPhone got people. It's like, oh, what do you have? Samsung? Oh. It's like, I love this. What are you talking about? So,
well,
good old Scott. I may or may not be in my pajamas. Don't. Why are you calling me out, Scott? Come on, buddy. Oh, here we go. I'm not sold on Colorado.
Well, it depends what. Yeah, see, and that's right where I'm at too, Nathan. I think 4-6.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at this year. I think the goal this year should be to be bowl eligible.
Yeah,
because if anyone can tell me the last time Colorado was bowl eligible, please do, because I don't know.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing with how terrible they were last year. You only expect to see improvement, especially with all the stuff that came out. They sold out the spring game, and you know what I'm saying? They had all that attention there. Obviously, Shador and Shiloh Sanders under Coach Dion. All those recruits with the top corner of last year, the top corner of this year, both coming. At the very least, you expect them to put a good product on the field, even if they can't get W's yet. I mean, you expect them not have so much success early, but I mean, definitely not 2-10. Let's say that. But you expect something. You expect something.
Yeah, I mean, the tough part is, especially early, you don't have tape on Colorado. You don't know what Colorado's going to do. I mean, you can look at some of the Jackson State stuff, but you can't guarantee Dion's running the same stuff he was running there because he's got different players to run with, right? Like, there's so many different variables that you don't have film on Dion's team this year. So they could catch a lot of teams early.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't have film on Shador Sanders. You don't have film. I mean, you do from Jackson State, but again, like you said, are they giving that same offense? And you want to see if he can rise to the next level. I mean, Jackson State, all respect to my HBCUs and all that stuff, but there's a reason why it's Jackson State and it's not Colorado, it's not Big Ten, it's not top tier, Division I football. So that transition is not easy for anybody, but at the end of the day, if you can play, you can play. And if you're the offspring of Deion Sanders, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
You know? So, man, they are going back and forth this offseason.
They are. I am.
Okay. Woo! I can't wait. Johnny said, I haven't looked at the Buff schedule outside of the TCU game. Can't really predict anything.
I can bring it up right now if we want.
There we go. Nice. Yes. Let's definitely see who the Buffs are playing. But I mean, like we talked about before, Johnny, that first game alone is going to be a test because TCU is got a lot of guys that went to the NFL. You know what I mean?
And they're going to TCU.
Obviously, Duggan. Oh, they're going. Ooh. Yeah.
So on the road to TCU, they host Nebraska, host Colorado State, go to Oregon, host USC, go to Arizona State, host Stanford, go to UCLA, host Oregon State, host Arizona, go to Washington State, and go to Utah to end the season.
I got maybe five wins.
1,
say Arizona,
2, 3.
I didn't give Stanford. I didn't give
4. Yeah, I'm gonna say 4 or 5.
Yeah.
5 being if they upset Colorado. TCU. Sorry.
Well, that's the thing because I can't see them beating Stanford. I'll give them Arizona. I can't
see. I actually have them beating Stanford.
You have them beating Stanford. What about Washington State?
That's another one I'm iffy on. So I could see the fact that Stanford's coming to them. That's why I like that. Okay. And they have to go to Washington State. That's why I'm iffy on that one. See, I'm thinking the ceiling is 7. Because I think you get Nebraska coming to you early, you could steal that one. You could steal TCU. You're going to beat Colorado State. So, potentially could start off 3-0. I don't think you will, but you potentially could. You're not beating Oregon. You're not beating USC. Arizona State is totally up for grabs. I have them beating Arizona State. So, I'll be conservative and say 2 wins now. I have them beating Stanford. Stanford coming to them. And, I mean, Stanford lost their quarterback, and they haven't been good in a while.
Yeah.
You ain't beating UCLA in LA. That ain't happening. You're not beating Oregon State. So I have them sitting at 3 wins right now, just being conservative. Arizona, I think you can take. Yeah. So I got 4 wins there. Washington State, I'm iffy on, and you ain't beating Utah.
No, Washington State was the one that was iffy, but I gave them a benefit of the doubt and gave them the 5. I've seen things I've seen things with 2 and 10. I've seen predictions with 2 and 10, and I've also seen predictions at like 6 and 6. Let me ask you this, Alex: if by some off chance Deion gets those boys riled up and gets them bowl eligible at 6 and 6, does he get consideration for Coach of the Year?
I can't do that.
It's a stretch, I know, but there is nobody expecting him to do anything this year.
Okay, consideration, yes, I can give him consideration.
Yeah, I didn't say give it to him.
Yeah. I had to think about the question again. Yeah, I can give him consideration because if you take one of the teams that was one of the last 3 teams to win a single game last year, and you flip them into a bowl eligible team, yeah. Okay, John. Okay, Johnny. Bump the.
Wow. Yeah, hey, those are the 2 worst teams in the country, so I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, Alex not seeing my comment is wild.
I think he was making a joke about watching the Beavers late at night. I was looking at my phone for the Colorado schedule. I'm sorry, Alex. That is funny though. I'll give you that.
Absolutely, gotta love those late games between Maction and then I'm on the East Coast, so the games from the West Coast that don't start till like 10 p.m.
Oh yeah,
them both, man. Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Believe it or not.
Oh yeah.
People miss. Oh, I definitely missed that. Not that comment. Yo,
Wait,
so hey,
which
like
comment then?
What comment are you talking about, Alex?
It was before that comment.
You're ready for the new host.
Yeah, saw that.
You saw that.
Oh. All right. Alex, tell us which comment it was.
This is an interesting question because we are. Oh, my bad. Oh, sorry. This is an interesting question because we are still in the preseason. We know Coach Harbaugh was given the suspension, but at the same time, it was up in the air. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. The others. It's not like we're doing a live show.
I know. I just realized. I'm sorry.
Golly, and I shouted out Kurt. Good gracious. Can I get back to my question to Alex? Alex, what is the current status of Coach Harbaugh?
So technically, there is no suspension anymore for Harbaugh. So with the NCAA, anytime there's a punishment decided between the NCAA and a school or the specific coach, player, whatever it is, it goes to a sanctions committee, and they have to approve it for the actual penalty to be put in place. And that sanctions committee did not agree on the 4-game suspension. We don't know whether it was deemed too much, too little. If they just decided we don't have enough information on it, so they said no. So now everything is completely up in the air. We don't know if it's just getting swept under the rug. We don't know, because the next step would probably be a full hearing.
Yeah.
Like a whole proceedings, hearing everything that happened, talking to both sides, which we're not going to see anything this year. So especially if that happens.
Yeah. That was my next question. Is this going to be a situation, and not, ladies and gentlemen, we're not getting political, but it is kind of mirroring this where Trump is running for office, and yet he's in the middle of all the legal stuff, and they're potentially bringing up some cases like towards the beginning of the run. Is this going to be a situation where we're coming in like December, January, and all of a sudden they start saying, okay, now we want to go through with this? Or do you think it's definitely going to be pushed off to the off season?
Oh, the earliest I expect it is after the season next year. To me, it's, you probably won't hear anything about this till February, March, April, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Because the other thing, and I was talking to my dad about this last night, is we could totally see if they levy a harsher penalty on and he's going to miss a majority of the season, he could just dip to the NFL again.
Oh, wow.
We saw teams were calling for him this year, and he decided to stay. If there's a job he likes and say they give him like a 8 to 10 game suspension and he's going to miss pretty much the entire season next year, he might just be like, okay, give me the penalty, I'm out. Like,
that's a possibility.
So the NCAA could counter that by waiting until the NFL coaching carousel is gone, and then
it's a game. It's all a game, man.
No.
Yeah. But I hope at this point I hope he doesn't leave, because he has built up Michigan. He's built them back up to prominence, and it took some time. Those first 5 years when he was 2 and
6 in the COVID year.
Yeah, you mean they were having trouble with Ohio State, having trouble with even Michigan State at that point. To bring them out of that, now back-to-back victories over Ohio State, back-to-back trips, berths to the college football playoffs. Many expect them to be right back there at the end of this year. Going to the NFL, college. I wanted to stay here. I wanted to stay in college. Too. I know you do too. Yeah. Giant team, hashtag go Cat. Yeah, that was Cat that said that. You know it's Cat. You knew it's Cat. Yeah. I'll be very happy with the Big Ten.
I disagree with this.
Except those other divisions. No. We need those other divisions. We need them, man.
Yeah.
So did he legitimately do anything wrong? And I think that's the question. Alex, go ahead.
So the original stuff that happened, I don't think he did anything wrong, especially the way NIL and all this BS is nowadays. On a recruiting trip, well, first off, when COVID first started, they did a recruiting dead period where you couldn't talk to the recruits, anything. And one of the coaches on his staff was communicating with a player. I don't know if Jim knew. I don't know if he didn't know. That hasn't really been determined. And then the other thing was on a recruiting trip. I don't know what year it was. He bought a kid a hamburger on the recruiting trip. Now, the main thing was when they were investigating it last year, he lied and misled them. That's the main thing that he's going to get punished for, is the trying to steer them off course and lying to them about what happened and this and that. So, I mean, like, did he do anything wrong? Not really, but he lied.
Yeah.
So, should there be some form of punishment? Yes. For trying to mislead them, lying about something that small. But I thought a couple games, honestly. When I saw the 4 games, I was like, yeah, okay, sure, like, we'll take it. But I'm starting to wonder if that 4 games might have been the sanctions committee being like, no, that's a little too much. And it might, yeah, I guess so, Nathan. I don't really know, because it's hard to see 4 games for buying a kid a hamburger on a recruiting trip, and for an assistant coach on your staff texting a kid during the recruiting dead period. 4 games for that seems a little excessive.
Come on now.
But
you got guys, opening suitcases full of money and, doing that type of stuff. And that's before the NIL deal. Now it's the Wild Wild West. They're doing it out in person. But a hamburger, when most of these kids are coming from places that they ain't ate in a couple, you know what I mean? Like, come on now. That's just a little bit.
Well, not to mention with NIL, some kids are making more than NFL players now.
Right. Exactly.
Like,
come on. Oh, here, Johnny D said, we don't need them, but 2 big conferences and dive into the regional division.
See, if you were going to do it that way, I guess.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I still... It's tough. Because, like, the history of all these conferences, like, the Pac-12, for example, was, like, just under 110 years as a conference. And it's gone like that. So we're throwing away over 100 years of history at the snap of a finger.
Right.
Like, and it's just, for example, with Oklahoma and Texas moving to the SEC, we no longer get that Bedlam game at the end of the season because Oklahoma and Oklahoma State aren't in the same conference. They're just not doing the game at all. What was the other one? TCU and SMU have a rivalry that's been going for like 110 years. They're throwing it away because of the uncertainty of which conference they'll be in by 2025. They're thinking 2 years ahead. We don't know which conference we'll be in, so we can't play our rivalry game anymore. That stuff to me is why we need stuff the way it was.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I love the idea of Michigan playing USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington, all these other big time schools. I can't wait to see that on a yearly or bi-yearly schedule. But it's just like the history and those rivalries and everything. To me, we're throwing that away for money, and I don't like that.
Yep. And this is his.
I mean, agreed.
But yeah,
I'd love Notre Dame to join a conference. Now, I don't think they'll join the Big Ten when it happens. I think they'll join the ACC as long as they're still standing. Their basketball programs
they're right. So they're already in the ACC somewhat. History is always in flux, and it changes that. Yeah, go ahead.
They're only independent for football because they have that NBC TV deal. But I mean, you start looking, and I looked it up yesterday. They're making about $30 million a year off their TV deal. New Big Ten deal is giving teams like 60 to 75 mil. SEC getting 60 to 75 mil. ACC is like 40, 45, somewhere in there, and they're going to negotiate a new deal probably pretty quick. So Notre Dame might look at that and be like, okay, we got to go. Like,
right. But now they're exclusive to NBC, and I mean, we talk about things from the past. That is one of those things that I knew. Even when I had the old school TV that had like 4 or 5 channels, I could click on Saturday morning, Channel 4, NBC, and Notre Dame was always going to be on there. And that's if for me, I don't want that change. I love that, even though we don't have the same channels. I mean, it's a part of life, man. It's what I've known, man. Ben said Johnny D, not always. And Ben and Johnny are going back. Change is inevitable. And don't forget, fellas, Notre Dame has new money deal with the Under Armour as well. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, nice.
See, but when you could have that and 60 to 75 coming in for TV, you know what I mean? Like,
always, look, you gotta take that money. Look, we are going to move on, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate all of you guys talking in the comments and chatting back and forth with us. Real quick, we're gonna take a quick breather because I want to showcase a show that's on Monday night. Might not be on this Monday night because this Monday night, myself, my fiance will be going to FedEx Field to destroy some Ravens, baby. Monday Night Football in the preseason. That's interesting. Interesting concept.